So you put all these things together and what you get is the boot process. Because the router itself is very similar to a PC, we're going to have a very simple power on self test, very much like a PC does. The power on self test is really no different than what a PC checks, of course. The memory, the power, everything that you need to check to make sure it's all good before you continue throughout the boot process. Then, what it's going to do is it's going to go into ROM and get that bootstrap. The bootstrap, which begins the bootloader process, if you are to begin the router load, and it'll look into flash memory and see if there is, in fact, a valid iOS image. Now, the iOS image, of course, is the operating system. It's usually a pretty small file, somewhere between 7 and about 12 megabytes. So it's not a whole lot of data. It's really a very small footprint of an operating system overall. But if it does find the valid iOS image, it's going to go ahead and load that image into RAM. Remember, just like a PC, we have to have what we're using in RAM for it to actually be processed or used. So this is going to be loaded into RAM at this point. Then, once the iOS image is loaded from flash, the iOS is going to look for a startup configuration file in the NVRAM. If it does find one, it's going to go ahead and load that startup configuration file into memory, and this is of course going to fully configure your router and bring all your interfaces up and make it route and all that good stuff. But if it doesn't find one, what will happen is the router will enter into auto setup mode. It is actually a menu-driven system that is designed to give you your initial setup of your Cisco router.